Welcome to the CCLS Data Analysis Meeting for the 2022-2023 school year. Let's begin with a word of prayer. Father, thank you for those dedicated teachers that we have at CCLS. Thank you for their inspiration, for their knowledge and skills, for their commitment to education. Please bless their work and equip them as they see the potential in each child here at CCLS. Bring strength where there is weariness. Bring rest where there is tiredness. Please help us to respect each other and understand one another as we discuss ways how our students are performing in our school. Give us open hearts and open minds, Lord. In your name, amen. So let's take a look at what's happening over time. First and foremost, it's important to note that our enrollment is the highest it's ever been. Our early childhood program houses 290 infants through 4-year-olds. Our K-8 program is 435, and the CCLS Micro School Academy at Bethlehem has 16 students with a total of 741 students. That is a lot of transforming lives through a Christ-centered education. Friends, today we're going to be talking about the roughly 325 students through our 3rd through 8th grader. So we are due for a new math curriculum, and currently we're using Saxon. What do we know about Saxon? Well, to master mathematics, students need to build on prior learning. New concepts learned depend on which concepts they already know. Saxon Math has provided CCLS with a learning structure that advances our students to higher levels of understanding in math. This woven together approach connects skills and reinforces concepts throughout the years, helping students build a stronger foundation of understanding. Basically, what you are all doing in your classrooms is working. So is Saxon a good fit for CCLS? Well, we've consistently seen really good math scores in all of our assessment data. Although Saxon is not ideal for every student, its spiral approach and practical math focus seems to give our students a strong foundation. We also know that the object to teaching good math is not simply covering the curriculum. It's teaching students how to explore our fascinating and beautiful world that God gave us through the lens of mathematicians. We also know we will soon be faced with making a choice. We've contacted the Saxon publisher and found out that they will likely stop publishing their school line sometime in 2023. Therefore, our curriculum team is working on next steps for purchasing a new math curriculum. We can see that our math curriculum is not broken, but we do need to move forward, taking some action steps. So, let's look at our data. What do our NWEA scores show for math? Take a look at this. I want us to recognize that having a common assessment with data we trust is key in making decisions that are best for our students. When we look at these math scores from this fall, we can see that you all are doing amazing things. All except one class is above the national average, and our entire 7th and 8th grade classes are above the projected spring average. That is so amazing. It's important to note that these are our current fall scores. I'm not trying to pinpoint the one class in yellow. It's not a reflection of what was happening in 5th grade this fall, but more of a combination of things. Things taught in 4th grade, new students joining our class, the demographics of the class. Therefore, we don't want to be hyper-focused on just that one class and notice overall how good our scores are. If we do hone into one particular class, we are able to look for trends. So let's track with this class. This class represents our current 7th graders. Here's what we can read from these scores. In the spring of their 4th grade year, 22% of the class was below the mean. That is not much. Most of those students were students in our special ed program. And keep in mind, this was the beginning of the pandemic, and we were starting virtual school. When these students were in 5th grade, they were back in person. Things were still crazy, and we were at about 23% below the mean. Not much had changed. However, in their 6th grade year, only 19% were below the mean. School was looking a little more normal, and you all were consistently doing a great job throughout all of the uncertainties. And now, at the beginning of their 7th grade year, we have only 17% below the mean. For this test, the kids have just come off of summer. Typically, we see a bit of what we call a summer slide with our scores, but these kids are doing great. There was no summer slide. Through this data, I can see that you all are designing lessons to match skill sets, and that's huge. Both in terms of process and results, I'm seeing a shift in your attitudes. You've shifted your mindset from being excited when your kids get it to being more excited when they don't get it. You've learned how to find holes and equipped yourselves and your students to fix them. One other thought. There's so many ways to analyze data, and we could also shift the way we look at these scores through a lens of who is on or above grade level. Either way you look at it, this is so impressive. To further encourage your teaching, let's look at how CCLS did in other subjects this year. In reading, every grade's average score was above the fall's national average. Wow. That's the same for English and language arts, and the same for science. Wow, just take a look at those science scores. So many of them are already even above the spring mean. So we realize our scores are amazing. What do we do now? Let's understand that our norms help us see if students are growing at an expected pace. We can see that they are. It's fulfilling to see how our NWEA norms allow us to make predictions about what kind of growth is typical and atypical for our students, specifically at CCLS. In addition, this data gives us specific areas of growth we can direct our attention to for each child. So our next step is to give each student the specific support that he or she needs, and that starts with setting student goals. With the data we receive from NWEA, you have the capabilities of setting goals with your students. It's an effective practice for motivating and empowering your students. My challenge to you is to use the MAP growth data for your specific class and the information from your formative assessments. So get all the pieces to the puzzle that you can to set goals for your students on a weekly or monthly basis. Goal setting has a statistically significant positive impact on student learning. We need to challenge our students and support the ones who need extra help, especially our special needs kiddos. Those kiddos that we saw way back in the red and the yellow, they need our help. And those kiddos in the blue, they need to be challenged. Here are 3 tips I have for you today. Number 1, have a conversation with them. The most important part of any teacher's goal-setting practice is to ensure students that they have meaningful and realistic goals. Help them look through their own data. Second, find new independent activities to build and measure skills. When you're honing into each student's abilities, you will be reminded of the importance of finding multiple diverse methods to meet the varied needs of students. It looks like many of you are already doing this, but my challenge to you again is to collaborate with this more. We all know that we're not just only using one piece of our purchased curriculum. The third tip I have for you today is to practice patience and grace. That's something that we must all remember to do every day in all aspects of our life. But whenever possible, I want you to shift your focus from letter grades to learning goals. This will put the learning we seek from students in context and provide an opportunity to get back on the horse, even after a temporary misstep. Even with my own children, I try to get them to focus more on what they're learning than what their grade is. In closing, I hope you are with me when I say I take pride in our school's culture and that our kids coming to school each day to learn. We owe it to our students to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and provide them with every possible chance to be successful at their futures. Analyzing data keeps us accountable for making sure that each child's classroom experiences are translating into meaningful skills and knowledge to thrive in their life. It's our job to look at all the pieces and adjust our instruction accordingly based on the skills students have mastered and where you see learning gaps. Good luck this year, and please let me know if you have any questions, need help analyzing your data, need help creating goals for your students. I'm here for you for anything you need. Thank you so much and have a good evening.